Now that's how you end the 2025 calendar year for basketball, heading into 2026 with a VJ Edgecombe dagger. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers post-game show live from the Xfinity Lounge, along with Derek and Kyle. I'm Devon Lindsay, producing all of you in the chat, and we are presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. It's never ordinary with your basketball team. They always have to play a clutch game. And luckily, we got a win out of that one as VJ Edgecombe sends the Memphis Grizzlies home in overtime. Well, keeps them home, but sends them with an L in overtime with a big-time three-pointer to give the Sixers the edge. Man, that was a fantastic, fantastic game. 139-136. Great performances from Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Edgecombe in the second half. Big contributions from others that we'll get to for the Unsung Hero. And we have an Ace Hardware temperature check as well. We'll give you the player of the game as we go along. I don't know if you know who we're going with, but we have some pretty good candidates tonight to choose from. Derek, let's start with you, man. We'll get to so many other things here as we go along. But your instant reaction to how things played out in the end.
Just sitting here, and I'm wondering how long it's going to take VJ to develop a go-to move. It's really gnawing at me here.
Where are you at, Pump? Pump it up.
We have not seen Pump in a very, very long time. I miss Brian Pumper. Anyway, as we start off the show with a little nonsense. No, I mean, look, it is like I saw Mike O'Connor, good friend Mike O'Connor, tweeting this out, but like, I should probably look this up real quickly. But like VJ's clutch stats, he's shooting like 60% or something like that. And it only goes up like every 100%. Time he plays.
He always has one of these.
Yes. And I don't know if I don't remember a game winner from him before, but for him to get that shot in that moment and be able to pull that trigger confidently, like we say it all the time. And he really struggled from the perimeter to start this one. I think he missed 4 of his first 5 3-pointers, was misfiring from the perimeter. He just always has the ability to be calm in those high pressure situations. And, he had a lot of really good drives to the rim, a lot of good, like hang layups. He had a lot of really good defensive moments, but he always come back to a guy who at this time last year, we were worried he wouldn't be able to shoot the basketball when you were scouting him. And now he's like one of the most cold-blooded catch and shoot shooters in the league. It is an absolutely wild development. They desperately needed that 3. They threw 2 at Maxey very, very hard and sold out to get the ball out of his hands, and he makes them pay like he has made them pay time and time again. It is just absolutely stunning to watch somebody who, again, really had a question mark on his scouting report just a year ago develop and have the kind of confidence that he has. And it really is like the confidence, because this was a game where he could have started off slow, struggled from the perimeter. Like I said, I think it was 1 for 5 from 3 to start and just turtled up. And he absolutely didn't. He played, I think Kyle brought this up, the entire second half. I haven't double checked that.
And overtime.
I trust my teammate. For him to have the legs to take that shot and make the shot, for him to have the confidence to take that shot says everything in the world.
The main thing it says is something that we saw early and that we've seen over the years from Tyrese Maxey. The reason he has the self-belief that he does is because he knows better than anyone how much equity, how much time, how much work has been put in the hours and the sessions and the practices and the things we don't see. Like we see glimpses of them, right? In the summertime, you see the Rico Hines footage. You see some of the trainers will post the scrimmages with their guys in the gym, and you see, oh, look, VJ's playing against Klay Thompson in the summertime. VJ's playing against other guys he's being drafted with. Looks like he really loves his craft and the sport and all this stuff. But like all that is just like we went through that with hey, boy, that Ben Simmons sizzle reel looked great. And so I think people in Philadelphia have a distrust to some degree of you can't believe everything you see in workout videos. But I think what VJ is proving is all the background intel that we got and we heard from him, talk to his coaches, talk to people around the program, talk to people who played with him, coached him, worked with him for the Bahamas. To a man, it was always, this kid is unbelievable. He's an unbelievable worker. He's always asking questions. He's very thoughtful. And I think the thing that really jumps out about how tonight's game unfolded, they were deliberate in the fourth quarter and overtime about using VJ as a ball screener for Maxey, knowing that the Grizzlies want to send to and want to get the ball out of Maxey's hands a lot of the time, because when that double was going to come, they wanted him one pass away because they had the belief that either he could make a shot or he could get them a shot. He had some nice passing plays, I think, down the stretch in the fourth quarter and overtime tonight as well. I think he just has an unshakable belief that you can't teach, but it's also something he has created for himself. He has put together so many reps and has worked so hard to round out some of the things that he's not good at. And he wasn't perfect tonight. He has issues with his game that night to night, week to week, we're watching him work through. But the belief in himself flows out of that one thing. It's why the organization loved him and loves him right now. It's why I think the fans are seeing the product on the floor, but increasingly, even the people who were doubters of VJ, within a week, 2 weeks, were all in because you can see the mentality, the physical tools, and just the total package of what you want. When you take somebody with a top 5 pick, that comes with a lot of pressure. He has shown absolutely no care or no feel for how much pressure is on someone like him. Outstanding performance from him in a season where he's had a ton of those. Like, just a wildly impressive kid.
Just want to point out the chat did call me out because I forgot about the VJ, offensive rebound putback against the Warriors. So I apologize about that.
Oh, yeah.
I
do think that's a little
fair call.
different as a game
It is
winner.
different, but it was a game-winning shot.
That he hit tonight.
So the thing for me, following up off of what the guys have said, is while the game on Sunday was a blowout in the way that it was against Oklahoma City, the same thing was presented to him in that second half after Tyrese Maxey went off in the first half against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Much better team. I'm well aware of all that. But it's the 3 for 16 that he had in that game versus what he did here tonight, especially in the second half with the combined second half and the overtime, and him putting on that shooting display that he did, not worrying about the last missed shot because he wasn't perfect in the second half. It was efficient overall, but still, it was good enough. It was really good enough. 7 for 15 overall for 17 points in the second half. And Kyle, as you talked about, he played the entire 24 minutes of the second half and then all of overtime in that 5 minutes with 3 points. So the way that he bounced back after having that terrible showing against the Oklahoma City Thunder, again, better team, but the situation was the same where they forced the basketball out of Tyrese Maxey's hands and he did not answer the bell, VJ Edgecombe in that one. We talked about it after the postgame of how he fell short in that moment, and tonight he did not because guys looked fatigued. Obviously, you're in overtime, so you had 2 older guys out there on the floor in Paul George and Joel Embiid. We'll talk about them a little bit later. And Tyrese Maxey was seeing a lot of double teams, and I'd imagine in the 40-plus minutes that he played, there had to be some tired legs out there for him too. So VJ Edgecombe had to respond. There were so many moments where we were saying, all right, Maxey is trying to get it going. He cannot. No one else is scoring. Someone has to do something. Someone. And VJ Edgecombe stepped up to the plate, and he did more than something by hitting his only basket in overtime with that 3. He had a great play in the late part of the fourth quarter outside from those points, where he had a great block on an open layup for Jalen Wells that I don't know how he stayed up in the air.
The hang time was
levitated
crazy.
in the air, and he was up there longer than Jalen Wells was and got that block, allowed them to run out and get some things done in the open floor. You guys talked about the passes that he made, but for him to have the wherewithal to take that shot, knowing that the ball was going to come to him at that spot at the top of the key, and it wasn't straddling the line. He was like 2 steps behind the three-point line and drilled it with no doubt. And honestly, I'm sitting there saying, that's probably going to be short. We're going to double overtime here. But no, he stood up there because he does this it seems like every single game in the clutch where he knocks those down. So for him to follow up that Oklahoma City performance with 3 for 16, again, I'll mention that, and then do this in the very next game where it was pretty much identical there. And this is after having I give him credit for that block on Wells, but he had some tough defensive assignments tonight where we'll get to the opposition and what they did, because when you score a lot of points the way that it happened, the other team scored too, and he couldn't slow everybody down. But man, for him to take that shot, to follow up that performance, that outing, Derek, against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and do this in this big spot, that shows me something from that kid. He showed us a lot already, but just add that to the resume of what he's done in his first 30-plus games.
No, it's truly ridiculous how many incredible moments and really just incredible games he's had. And I do think
the fact that you forgot a game winner that he is he's already got 2. We're not even in the new year.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's and 2 very different ones too. One, an incredible heads up and athletic play, and the other one just a garden variety made catch and shoot 3, but the shot that really was a swing skill for him. And, I think we can sit here and talk about the 16 points in the fourth quarter and overtime, but I think it's easy to focus on that and lose sight of all the different ways he impacted the game, whether that was his defense from the off-ball roaming to the block shots, whether that was, some of the passing that Kyle brought up, and obviously the scoring, both the driving and the catch and shoot. It's just when he's going right, and obviously he's a rookie, he's going to have his ups and downs. The shot's going to be up and down. Finishing at the rim is going to be up and down. The handle still needs a little bit of refinement. But when everything's going right, he can just impact the game in pretty much every facet. And we talked about it, earlier in the week on our Monday show, on our 3 p.m. show, about how having that kind of versatility and that two-way play with the spacing on offense, along with the defensive versatility on defense, is almost just like a cheat code and exactly what Tyrese Maxey needed next to him. And in that final play, you literally saw what Tyrese Maxey quite literally needed right next to him. And it's just a great building block going forward.
You brought up the OKC game, and we talked about being disappointed. That's what we're saying. Look, at a lot of this was on him. I think the important thing you saw in that Thunder game, and none of us were like, oh my God, this says a lot about VJ Edgecombe. It was, hey, this is a tough game for him, and he's got to bounce back. The important thing to me that you see there that differentiates him from some of the other high draft picks they've had that have ended up flaming out is that he had no problem just shooting. Like, defense is giving me this shot, I'm going to take it. And that lack of hesitation is something that when you get into playoff situations, crunch time, clutch game situations like we saw tonight, and frankly, like we've seen basically all year, I don't know if this team knows how to play a game where they just get a normal win by like 10 to 12 points and see it out with no drama. You need to have a mentality where I've said it 100,000 times on this show. You're 2 for 9. You believe that you will be 3 for 10. Like, you have to be able to shrug that off. You have to say, this defense is daring me to shoot. They want me to shoot rather than Maxey or Paul or Joel or whoever might be on the floor. I'm going to make them pay for leaving me alone. I'm going to make you respect me. Doesn't matter if I'm a rookie, fifth-year player, whatever it might be. So the consistent approach there has been really important to me, having gone through the experience of rookies coming in, and you can see it's deer in the headlights when the chips are down and when the stakes get high. Like, a lot of guys, I'm not going to call anyone out by name, but everyone knows a couple of guys that I'm referring to here. He's been really impressive on that front. And yeah, like, it's a forgotten play now because they didn't end up scoring on the play, but he got a critical tie-up / offensive rebound in the final minute of regulation that turns into a jump ball. Ja Morant knocks that ball out of bounds. You got a possession to potentially win the game in regulation because VJ at 6'5" mixed it up with Jaren Jackson on the floor, got to the ball, and created something out of thin air for you. Like, he's a winning player. It was one of the things we talked about. Like, I just believe that this kid, no matter what happens with the shot and some of the swing skills, that he was going to find a way to impact winning games. I didn't think that it would be so immediate and so often that he would be a driving force behind winning.
He finished 5 for 10 from 3. To your point, he was 1 for 4 through the first 3 quarters. So that means he was 4 for 6 the rest of the way, none bigger than the one to give them the victory there in overtime. Sixers win 139-136. Thriller in overtime against the Memphis Grizzlies. We'll talk about what some of the others did, from Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Ja Morant, Cedric Coward. We'll discuss them as well. And so many other things here that we have to get through here on this show. Big win, final one of 2025. Next time we'll see the Sixers will be actually on New Year's Day when they take on the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas. But we're breaking this one down right here. Sixers win 139-136. Valdez, the hero, 25 points on the night. Big 3 to close the game out in overtime. We'll break it all down with the unsung hero on the other side from Togo when we get back right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You got to be one of the 90 million users worldwide like I am. And you get to jump in on the live in-game betting, which is pioneered by Bet365, all on the app at Bet365. New users, let me tell you, as new users, we got some breaking news for you here at Bet365. All you have to do is deposit $10, place a bet for $5, and you get $150 in bonus bets credited to your account. Win or lose. Nobody else is doing that but Bet365. So make sure if you are not already signed up, you do so, because your bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We got some big games coming up for your basketball team in 2026. And the same with the playoffs getting started for your football squad, trying to make another run in defending their crown. Must be 21 plus, physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And guys, next up, we want to tell you about Xfinity and their 5-year price guarantee. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part: no annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger. But your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
And we're back here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show presented by Bet365, 139-136. By the way, we did hit on our Bet365. Might as well go into the new year the right way. We hit on the Bet365.
Gambling Givens, baby.
Pre-game pick of Jaren Jackson, 2+ threes made. Tyrese Maxey, 30. That was easy.
I was going to say, did you get that in 3 quarters?
That was easy. That was easy.
Cooking.
Yeah, it was. So we did things right tonight there, helping us out. That also helped, well, through 3 quarters. So that was easy, but it never hurts when you have an overtime game that'll generally get you over those numbers. But we got it in regulation, so we hope that you tailed on that one and made some funds going into the new year. Let's get to the Togo Unsung Hero of the game, presented by our good friends from Togo, of course. Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, will execute. And we'll get to your super chats as we go along, everybody. We appreciate you tuning in here on the show. Hit the like button. Kyle, Unsung Hero. Let's go to the backup big, where we didn't see Andre Drummond at all. We saw Dembona in 2 different roles, backup 5, and playing alongside Joel Embiid. Dembona. Numbers weren't crazy. The stat line didn't go off, but 25 minutes and 36 seconds, 4.6 boards, 2 assists, 2 block shots, but he played under control. Rebounded the basketball on both the offensive and defensive glass like we've asked for. Dembona, Unsung Hero.
So we also got a shout in the chat from Larry K saying Q Grimes unsung. Devon brought that up as well. We tossed that around a little bit.
We'll get to him.
I do think his defense played a part tonight for sure. But Adem, was a big story tonight, both because of his own play, but also because Nick Nurse leaned on him a lot as a 4, or at least as a big and a 2 big lineup alongside Joel Embiid. I think increasingly the last 2-3 games, we've seen Edem play with real composure with the ball in his hands. I think it looks very deliberate where it's like you can see him thinking it through. It's like, get 2 hands on the ball. And I said to you during the game, Devon, I compare it to when there's a fumble in a football game. There are certain guys where you say, I'm okay with you trying to scoop and score, like go and run, where you see the 350-pound lineman, you're like, fall on the ball, big man. Edem is a fall on the ball, big man guy on plays where he needs to use his hands. But I think once he has secured the ball recently, he's making good decisions. I think he's making good short roll passes when he gets those opportunities. He threw a bounce pass in traffic tonight that I was like, I didn't know he had that in the bag. I thought that was one that he's throwing it off of somebody's shin or throwing it out of bounds. The effort, the athleticism has always been there. I think it will always be there, at least to some extent. And the real play of the game from him, for me, was the end of the third quarter. They're riding high. Joel had a sequence where he had like 3 or 4 offensive rebounds on one possession. He's just like Moses Malone tipping the ball to himself. He scored like that. Maxey then, probably a minute or 2 later, he gets an offensive rebound on his own miss, puts it back, scores. And you're going in with momentum, but then all of a sudden, hey, the transition defense is crappy again. Looks like Memphis is going to score. And Edem on a dead sprint just gets back, blocks the shot. They end the quarter riding high. And I thought that was just, that's who Edem is, right? He runs the floor hard. He plays hard. His errors, for the most part, are effort errors. It's him trying to play a little bit too fast, a little bit too hard. I even thought tonight there was a foul he picked up on Ja Morant where he's guarding him in space. I do think that's where he tends to pick up his fouls, is when he's on the perimeter or guarding in space. But I thought that was a really good possession from him, and that was just like you know what, you're guarding a guard, and those things happen. So I think we're seeing some real progress from him. I'm hoping that this is something that he can continue building on. And I said to you during the game, Devon, I think one thing I have genuinely appreciated from Nurse this year is that he has not been beholden to like, oh, Andre Drummond's the vet and he played well to start the year, and so he's going to play the whole year. Andre's not been good recently. He gave Edem another chance to play these minutes. Edem has played better, and so he got a much longer leash to work with. So I think Nurse has managed those backup bigs really well, and credit to Edem for taking the opportunity and running with it.
Yeah, I thought Edem played well. You know, with the double big lineups, I am a little bit of 2 minds. You know, I do think a big part of the reason that the Embiid Maxey 2-man game was so much more successful today is that Embiid was a threat to drive. And when he is a threat to drive off of those, you know, dribble handoffs or DHOs, it just makes it so much tougher for the defense to take something away. It's so much tougher for the defense to throw it to at Maxey. It's so much tougher for the defense to overplay that jumper. Everything is more effective when Embiid is a threat to drive. And I thought today he was maybe as much of a driving threat as he's been all year.
Yep.
And I do think at times when Embiid was on the floor with Bona, some of those driving lanes were occupied. Some of those driving lanes were tighter. And I think that's always going to be a problem. So there's a little bit of a push and pull there. But I also think when Bona was on the floor, like Joel Embiid was more willing to go out there and contest shots. He was more active defensively because it felt like there was someone behind him to cover up those rebounds. You know, we've talked time and time again. In the past, Joel used to be able to contest that shot, jump back, grab the rebound, control everything. Now he has to pick and choose, even on nights where he's moving well. And tonight, I think that decision was easier because he had Barlow and Bona back there for a good chunk of the game. I wish it didn't come with so many offensive trade-offs. I'm still going to be worried at times that the spacing is going to be compromised.
12 points for Dominick Barlow, man.
Yep. But that you're going to...
some great cutting, by the way.
Yes, sir.
And some great passes from Embiid. And beat him twice, I think. But I do worry a little bit with those double big lineups that it's going to make Embiid a little more one-dimensional, turn him into a jump shooter, make that 2-man game easier to defend. But it does give you very real benefits on defense.
He, the thing with Bona that we talk about is just trying to string together some good games where his you know, just the confidence that he has just continues to build. He'll have 4 of these, and then he'll go and have a few, and then Nurse will lose that confidence in this Andre Drummond once again as the instant call right there as the backup for Joel Embiid, whether starting or coming off the bench. And when Kyle even mentioned that one play where diving on the floor like he's an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman, just go get the ball. Don't try to advance the ball. It's like, you know how you watch Rocky and he's training and he's chasing around the rooster and all. It's like, just grab the ball, but don't do anything else.
Grab the rooster, Adele.
Right. Just grab the rooster, because if you remember, he passed the ball to Tyrese Maxey for that layup that he got out in transition for a finish. I'm sure there was enough runway for him to run and do that, but we were just a little concerned.
And we have seen Andre, by the way, take that runway.
That ball was going to be kicked into the 8th row, if you ask us. But he did the right thing of passing the ball, but he did so many other good things in this one. And he stayed under control. And then even with that one play where he did draw the foul, Ja Morant did on him for that and one opportunity, I thought he was going to leave his feet. And that's where they were going to call the foul. But he stayed on the ground. He stayed grounded. He moved his feet. And they got him for what an all-star is going to get. He's going to get that call. And the way Ja Morant was getting to that spot on the floor so often tonight, it was going to be probably a positive play in general. And he knew what he was doing against a young player that can be handsy and can be a little jumpy. And I thought Edgecombe did a pretty good job of not bailing him out. He did an awesome job on that. And so I give him credit. This is 2 games in a row where they've called his number, and he's done a pretty good, decent job when the game mattered against OKC, and tonight when it mattered where they needed him in those 25-plus minutes next to Embiid and playing behind Joel Embiid as well. So really good to see that from Edgecombe. We saw the Dominick Barlow in the chat. He's no longer qualifying for this because the award is actually the Togo Unsung Hero Dominick Barlow Award that Rich P told us. So he no longer qualifies. We talk about him just in general. And yes, Quentin Grimes also with his defense. He was really, really good in the closing lineup for Nick Nurse tonight. That is Edgecombe, our unsung hero tonight, presented by Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute. We'll talk about Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid on the other side. But just for sake of these last few minutes before our next break, Quentin Grimes and Dominick Barlow, your thoughts.
Well, so Barlow was the one who popped earlier, and I thought it seems like him and Joel now have a better understanding, having gotten some time together. Barlow's a smart player just in general, but I think he has figured out how to time his cuts based on when the double is coming, when the pressure is coming toward Joel. And credit to Joel for looking for those. I thought his passing got worse as the game wore on. The 4th quarter was a bit of an adventure for Joel passing the ball. But first 3 quarters, I thought he was super on point with finding guys like Barlow, finding Maxey on the perimeter. I thought he made some great bounce passes through traffic. So Barlow's main job was just exactly what we talk about, the energy stuff and flash into space, get the easy dunks and layups when you need to. Grimes was a little bit trickier because there were portions of that game where I was like, okay, Quentin, that's about enough of whatever it is you're doing on offense. But he settled into the game, and Nurse, we had the conversation pregame. Is he going to close with him? Is it going to be a dual big situation? How are they going to handle this? He goes back to Grimes, and I thought he was rewarded for that. I thought he was exactly what I want him to be, 3-and-D type guy where you take the open 3, you move the ball otherwise, maybe you attack and close out a little bit, get to your mid-range at certain points, and otherwise you're going to switch on defense, keep the hands back, don't foul. Thought he was an important part of that win for sure.
Grimes played 8 minutes and 57 seconds in the 4th quarter, and he played all of the OT session.
Yeah, and he had a couple moments in offense where you're like, what are you doing? Like that pump fake wide open 3 to drive directly into Jaren Jackson Jr. was one of those moments. And that's just part of the Grimes experience, unfortunately. I do think his defense, like Kyle brought up the other day, that his offensive struggles seem like they have bled into some of his defensive focus. That wasn't the case today at all. Like he was locked in defensively, I think,
100%.
right from the jump. And as long as he does that and takes his open 3s, for the most part, I will excuse, we've been excusing Kelly for years. I will excuse a bozo moment or 2 per game as long as you're getting that. And I think he gave them that tonight.
Yeah, he did. Dominick Barlow, Quentin Grimes, 2 unsung heroes in this one as well, as the Sixers win 139-136 in overtime. VJ Edgecombe with the game winner. Phenomenal shot by the rookie. The other two set things up throughout the first three quarters. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, we talk about them on the other side. We'll get to the Ace Hardware temperature check as well. Maybe we'll talk about those two together. Maybe the big three. They finally got a win out there on the floor.
1 and 4,
One
progress.
and 4. That's right. There it is. You got to win one to have some progress. They did that. We'll get to it all when we get back. It's the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Huge win by the basketball team.
Guys, you want to keep your finances under control this holiday season, you need to be using Monarch. Rated the Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025, Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or your phone. And right now, just for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year. During this holiday season, Monarch was the wake-up call I needed. It made me stop and adjust my spending before the credit card bill arrived. Monarch does all the heavy lifting for you, linking all of your accounts in minutes so you can get clear data visuals, smart categorization of your spending, and real control over your money. Monarch gives your partner full access to your shared dashboard, including linked accounts, budgets, goals, and spending activity, all in one place and at no extra cost. Monarch was named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code PHLY at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code PHLY.
All right, everybody, the new year is here and you're setting those resolutions. Remember when you wanted to start that business when you were younger and you said, I don't know when I'm going to do it. I know you've been doing your research, though. And the great place for you to go is Shopify. That's right. What kind of dreams did you have when you were a kid? Is it something that is obtainable in the 2026 calendar year and you want to get started and you need somebody to help you out? Shopify is a place for you to go. You might as well do it now. Shopify is the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Shopify even powers the PHLY merch store here at the PHLY network. So if you've ordered from us, you see how easy it is. It's great. Go do it. Turn your business idea into cha-ching. That's right. With Shopify on your side, sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling at shopify.com/allcity. That's shopify.com/allcity. Cha-ching. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers postgame show.
The very serious. Hey, everybody.
Look at that. Hit the like button, everybody, while you're in there. Hit the subscribe button. Pass the word. Tell everybody else that we are here because when we go into the calendar year, we need to see all of you and many, many more for these shows. We got a ton of people watching right now, and we appreciate it as always. Please hit the like button. And again, like and subscribe to the show and the channel. We really appreciate it overall. While you're at it, after the game, you hear all these great words that we talk about, go to allphly.com and read the recap from Kyle Neubeck at allphly.com. And if you haven't done so already, sign up to become a diehard member for us, please, at allphly.com. Now, it's time for, let me take the foam finger off so you can make it serious here. Let's get to the Ace Hardware.
The foam finger's
When
not
are we
serious?
ever serious?
Let's get to the Ace Hardware temperature check presented by the good people from Ace Hardware. Make sure you visit Ace Hardware Home Services online, acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. Derek, heating up. It's kind of sad. We got to say the big three, but let's talk about the big two. They heated up tonight.
Yeah,
Who's that
Paul
third
George
one?
cooling down.
Yeah.
6 for 17.
The big three was VJ Edgecombe with those guys. That's what it was.
We were talking about it during the game. They brought up how well the big three were playing in the middle of the announced crew, and we were all like, "Are they though?"
But at one point, they're like, Embiid, Maxey, and George have combined for 60 points. It's like, well, yeah, but at that point, like Maxey, Embiid, and I had combined for 50 points. Like that doesn't mean that George is carrying any of
His
that.
name was on the assignment for sure.
Yes.
Well, the big two combined for a pretty big night, 68 points. They each had 34 points. Joel Embiid almost had a triple-double, 10 boards, 8 assists, 12 assists for Tyrese Maxey. Both of those guys, Tyrese Maxey, 4 for 7 from 3. Joel Embiid, 1 for 6. Got to the free throw line 12 times, made 11 of those. And he played 38 minutes tonight. Tyrese Maxey, 43. Kyle, we start with you on this one. The big two with their 68 points. And again, just dishing out the assists and also rebounding. Tyrese had 4, but he had a couple of big rebounds where he needed to get in there for some boards. As we talk about heating up, those two heated up tonight.
So I'm going to go away from the offense entirely for a second. I know the defense was just a train wreck as a general rule. There was not a lot of defense played in this game. That's the best Joel has moved since maybe 2023.
Yeah, since Kuminga.
Like, we have not seen, and I look, late in the game, this was not the case. I think late in the game, you could see Joel is not someone who has played 38 minutes in a basketball game in a while. He is not used to this workload anymore, and that is a problem for the longer term. But the sequence we saw in the second quarter where he went up and blocked a shot and then dove for a loose ball in the corner, doesn't end up getting it, but is doing that, threw the ball off the backboard to himself to attempt the dunk. And I was like, what are you doing? And then, he picks himself back up. And that was honestly kind of a catalyst for, he moved a lot better. He moved more purposefully. When he played next to Bona, he got a steal in the passing lane. He had another block shot where it was basically him and Adem blocking the same shot at the same time, which was a very cool / funny moment. And I just think you saw more explosiveness from him. Now, that doesn't mean that he had a great defensive game. The whole team played poorly on defense. Transition was a disaster. They did a poor job of containing Ja Morant, although Ja, credit to him for an individual shot-making display inside the arc that was pretty impressive. They did a really bad job of overhelping off of shooters as a team, and some of that was because I guess they probably don't trust Joel on the back end as much as they used to just clean everything up. But there was at least a stretch of probably 2.5, maybe even 3 quarters where I said, oh, wow, that looks closer to old Joel. That looks like a guy who maybe he's 80% of who he once was, but 80% of the defense and the level of offense he's still able to offer is a player who can make a huge impact on this team, especially with this version of Maxey, especially with VJ at this level that he's playing at to start his career. So I was very encouraged by that. The offensive numbers don't end up looking good, like the shooting numbers. But I think, once again, what happened there is largely a product of how Memphis defended Tyrese Maxey, where Maxey was killing them, absolutely killing them through 3 quarters. And starting in the back half of the third, but definitely in the fourth, there was a pretty pointed effort where it was like, Tyrese, we're taking away the paint. We're taking away the rim. We're not allowing you to get shots at the basket. And so there are a lot of possessions where it was 2 on Maxey or help on Maxey or help on VJ, and it's a kickback to Joel above the break or on the wing, and he missed open threes. He missed some foot on the line, long twos that I wish he would have just taken those as threes instead and get your feet right and all that. But they're shots I'm going to live with. I don't like that he shot 11 for 28. And the shot that he took in overtime, that one-handed fling shot,
Goodness.
I nearly threw my laptop across the room watching that shot. Like, his decision-making has to be better there. But largely, I thought the shot diet was okay. This was not a matter of, hey, they walk the ball down the floor every time and just throw Joel the ball. I thought him and Maxey played their most fluid basketball of the season. Thought the interchanges on the dribble handoffs were as good as they've been all year. So I feel very heartened and very encouraged by how he looked and how him and Maxey played together. I thought the synergy was as good as it has been all season. Were the results perfect for 4 quarters plus overtime? No. Do they need to get better? Yes. But I think this was very much a step in the right direction.
No, like I think the final line gets dragged down a little bit for a couple reasons. First of all, I do think he got tired. That was the most minutes he's played in a regular season game since November 2024.
38.
It's been a minute. And I thought you could see that with some of the shots down the stretch. Plus he missed his jumpers. Plus he missed he must have missed like 5 bunnies at the rim that he got most of those offensive rebounds back anyway. So it didn't even really hurt you all that much. But I think this was very clearly the best he has moved. And when you look at the trend with Embiid, and he's played 7 of the last 10 games, he's averaging 25.9 points over that span, along with 8.1 rebounds. He's playing better defense pretty consistently now. Not where it needs to be, not where it previously was,
but better.
But he's certainly, like, the trend line is very clearly going up. And tonight was, I think, I'll agree with what Kyle said. That's the best he's moved. I've seen him move since that injury. And it is, is he able to sustain it? Is he able to stay on the floor? We don't know. But I quite frankly, look, did I wince at that off backboard dunk attempt? Oh my God, yes, of course. Was I, yelling at him in my head? Well, I was yelling at him out loud. Yes. But I love the fact that he has the confidence to attempt it. I hope the decision-making improves, but you need real confidence in the knee. This man has 0 dunks on the season, and he's trying to go off the backboard. It's stupid, but I love the confidence. I love the fact that he's feeling better about his knee. And then he had a block a couple minutes later that probably showed just as much, if not more, mobility, lift, and confidence. And those are the kind of things, it's one thing we can sit here and pick apart his game and say, okay, yeah, he had 34 points, but he had 28 shot attempts, and he had a couple turnovers and bad shots late. I don't care for 2 reasons. One, because overall, he still had a really good game. He had, besides the 34 points, he had some great passes. Played pretty good defense at stretches too. But more importantly, that mobility is so clearly better than anything we had seen up to this point this year that it has to give you a little bit of hope. Again, not confidence. I cannot speak in confidence with Joel Embiid until much more happens and much more consistently. But it has to give you a tiny bit of hope. And that really was I mentioned this earlier, but the fact that he was a threat to drive, the fact that he was, a little bit, had some diversity attacking off of that catch, made that 2-man game with Maxey all the better. And that's when you start seeing okay, when they're not predictable, then you can see all the different ways they can attack out of that and all the different chemistry and years and reps that they put in. This was as close to that 2-man game as we've probably seen since the Knicks series. Yeah.
I thought that he looked just as good against the Pacers when he dropped 39 in that game. And we talked about how he had it going. So when he had it going, he believed in everything else that he was doing out there on the floor. But tonight, to see that twice now in 2 weeks, I'll take that as a plus. The one thing for me was the jump shooting, as the guys talked about the defense and the offense. I thought the jump shooting, because he was so confident that, number one, the defender had no shot. So Koloko had no shot, Landale had no shot, and Jaren Jackson had no shot. So when he knocked down 1 or 2, he was not hesitating at all, like we have seen over the past couple of games, where sometimes he'll question of, am I going to do this now? Am I going to ball fake, or am I going to put the ball on the floor and then take the shot? Am I going to jab step and then take the shot? There's no hesitation. 1 jab step, go, and he takes the shot. And he knocked him down at an okay rate, enough where I didn't mind him taking those again, because we know he can make those. So that was something that stood out to me, and I hope he continues to take those shots and without hesitation. That'll then open up the driving that the guys here have talked about for him. As far as Maxey goes, it's why a lot of people outside of Philadelphia voted for him to be the second highest voter in the Eastern Conference as far as a player, not guards, player behind Giannis, because Tyrese Maxey had it cooking early, and while he faded there at the end, he got the help from the others that bailed him out. He did what he was supposed to do to get them to this spot through the first 3 quarters, to be in the position that they were in. And we talked about it pregame. Their defense is pretty good. He made them look silly plenty in that first half. And he was really, really efficient where, what was he, Kyle, at one point? 8 for 9, 9 for 10. And there were some step back threes that he made as well. And he looked really, really good out there. We talked so much about Maxey, about him being an all-star, all-NBA conversation as well. I saw something on ESPN, like we talked about the all-NBA stuff so much there through the first 30-plus games of where would he be, first, second, or third. They even predicted right now that he would be second right now as an all-NBA guard in the league. And that's just high praise for him. We've seen it so much. We hope it continues through the 2026 calendar part of the year, going into whatever happens with them through April, hopefully with a deep run. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, the Ace Hardware temperature check. Those 2 guys heated up in a big, big way this evening in this overtime win, combining for the 68 points. And so much with the offense and the defense as well. The Ace Hardware temperature check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. When we come back, we'll give you the player of the game, maybe a little video with that as well, as we close out the show, our final one for the 2025 calendar year as well. Sixers win in overtime. VJ Edgecombe with the huge 3 to give the Sixers the win. 139-136 is the PHLY Sixers postgame show presented by Bet365.
Guys, do you really want Tyrese Maxey trying to post up Probably not. You want to keep your stars focused on doing what they do best. The same goes for your business. You don't want your top people buried in operations, the tedious, time-consuming, redundant activities that wear the team down. Togo can help any business looking to reduce operating costs, become more efficient, or unlock more time for their best people. From customer service and accounting to order management, logistics, admin, data entry, and even complex multi-step operational processes, Togo takes it off your plate at a fraction of the cost. Every engagement starts with free process mapping and engineering. No cost, no commitment. They don't bill you a dime until the real work begins. With programs starting as low as $1,000 a month, you're not going to break the bank. Each Togo program includes dedicated staff, custom automations, and US-based process engineers who act as your quarterback, giving you complete control, total transparency, and instant efficiency. At Togo, you call the plays, they execute. Visit harnesstogo.com, scale smarter, work faster, and stay focused on winning.
Guys, let me tell you about a local business that's been helping Philly homeowners and businesses stay pest-free, Evans Pest Control. It's not a giant national chain, family-owned, community-focused pest control company right here in the Philly area, and they've been earning the trust of our neighborhoods for years. This time of year, guys, I know you think all the bugs are dead. I don't have to deal with pests, but think about all the people coming in your house, Christmas, New Year's, all just leaving crumbs and food and drinks and empty cans everywhere. You don't want to deal with the aftermath of that. But if you do, Evans Pest Control uses state-of-the-art equipment, safe and effective treatment options, and their techs go through continuous training so they can handle anything: rodents, insects, termites, even bed bugs. So if you see signs of pests or just want to prevent them before they start, reach out to Evans Pest Control. Visit evanspestmgmt.com to schedule your free consultation. That's Evans Pest Control at evanspestmgmt.com.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers
broke Devon.
post-game show presented by Bet365. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment's never ordinary at Bet365. We got a bunch of super chats too. So let's get to these super chats.
But I wanted to get to one quick one specifically because I said, Devon, I don't know if you're prepared for this one.
Okay.
From WJFM, is that 151, I believe? And the super chat is pair character jumping up and down saying #1 fan.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Thank you to WJ who dropped the super chat. Very nice donation to the show.
Take it.
And it was a visual super chat. I think it's like an animated pair jumping up and down saying #1 fan. But on our screen, it only comes up as the text. Okay. And so I was stifling laughter for a good 2-3 minutes as I saw that on the screen, and you guys were having like very serious basketball discussion. So thank you, WJ. Just wanted to spotlight that one specifically. We will get to the other super chats as well.
We appreciate WJ for the donation and the great visual that had Kyle cackling over here, losing his stuff. Let's get to the player of the game first here, and that is has to be Valdez. Has to be VJ Edgecombe with a great, great night, finishing again with 25 points on the night, 5 for 10 from 3, 6 rebounds, 4 steals, Derek. 4 steals.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 steals. Maxey had 2, VJ Edgecombe with 4.
Yeah.
So he continues to make a difference there.
I hope he one day gets that 5x5 game. It'll be tough. Like 5 blocks from VJ would be tough, but he's going to get close one of these days.
Yeah.
And it really does. Like, it's just 2 things. And like we talked about VJ for the entire first part, so I don't want to go too long on this. But like just the sheer number of ways that he can impact it, and you just mentioned it or, hinted at it by bringing up the box score. And just the fact that Nick has enough trust in him to play him 39 minutes. Was it 39 minutes?
40 minutes and 50 seconds.
There you go. 41 minutes. And the last 29 minutes straight. Like, it's one thing for a rookie to be in the rotation. It's another thing for the coach to be like, no, he's indispensable.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Outside of like Cooper Flag level rookies that you're building a team around, that just does not happen.
And only picked up 4 fouls.
And it just speaks to the trust in not only, the shot and the two-way play, but the decision-making. And that's just so rare for a 21 or a 20-year-old rookie to have that kind of trust in him, but he's earned it. And he's going to be earning it for a long time.
And James Alexander has sent this to us in the chat. Wanted us to highlight this part too with Tyrese Maxey when we were talking about him in the last segment. Between he and VJ Edgecombe, exactly 1 turnover.
Yep.
From your backcourt.
Very, very
Your
impressive
2 starters.
stuff.
Yep.
And I think
one
that
was from
turnover
VJ.
came in the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yep.
So for the final 47 or 46-ish of regulation plus overtime, no more turnovers from either of them.
And we have gone exactly, let's say, 51 minutes into the show, and we have not shown the dagger 3 yet.
Yeah.
Lindsay, let's cue that dagger 3-pointer up there and allow everybody to see what VJ Edgecombe did, where he was on the floor, John Morant running at him. Look at Joel wants to jump up and chest bump, and VJ's like, nah, man, nah. Just look at this.
That's why they brought him here,
Big
to
time.
make plays like that.
Big time. Big time from
Special
the rookie.
stuff, man.
Yes, it was. So congratulations, VJ Edgecombe, with yet another player of the game. Big time shot. The 5th made 3, 4 for 6 after starting off 1 for 4, 4 for 6 the rest of the way, including that one to walk off the floor. Well, after they played some decent defense to make sure Memphis didn't make theirs. Whew, there were some good looks the other way, but great stuff from VJ Edgecombe. 25 points, 10 of 21 shooting, 6 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals, and a game winner for VJ Edgecombe. All right, let's get to the super chats here. We'll talk about
The
John Morant.
non-jumping pair #1
Yes.
fan edition.
Yes,
Super
so
chat.
let's start off with Jay of the Jungle. What is VJ Edgecombe's go-to move, though? Shout out Pump.
And for any newcomers, this was a running bit for a long time because of a well-known chatter in the show.
That's
chat.
a good point. Since I basically led off the show making an inside joke, there's a lot of people who probably weren't here around draft time, but there was, we'll just call him one prominent listener who must have given us $500 in super chats,
Hundreds
an
of
absurd
dollars.
amount of super chats. And every day he would bring up what's VJ's go-to move because he preferred somebody else. Well, VJ showed you what his go-to move is tonight. It's winning.
Good stuff. Winning.
Called game.
Absolutely.
Okay, Charlie Sheen.
EJ Barrett. Maxey has so much gravity that he takes off on the dribble, and VJ is wide open. And it turns out VJ is, in fact, that guy. I'm going to jinx it, but have bonus hands been better? Also,
I think we agree on that one, EJ. So
Cedric Coward is good. It's actually Cedric Coward.
And on that subject, we also had a super chat from Schoolboy. Said, that kid Cedric Coward is for real, man. So
we were going to talk about John Morant and Cedric Coward.
If you would have been
Talk about Cedric Coward.
If you had been listening to the show back in April, Kyle and I were in on him when he was probably in the
we
20s.
thought he was a secret. We were like, oh man, I'm going to be way high on this kid, and we ended up.
You
I
were
think
talking about 2nd round pick high when the Sixers.
And then when I watched it more and I talked to people, I was like, when we ended up doing big boards, I think I had him 8th or something like that.
Yep.
And I still wish I had him higher because, boy, I love the glimpses that we saw. But one of the big shames of Paul George's night was when Cedric Coward came running right down Main Street in transition. And he made a business decision because he did not want to get in front of Cedric Coward coming right down the lane for a dunk. So what did he end up with tonight? 28 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists.
16
That kid
boards.
is a player, man.
16 boards. 16
I know that
boards.
the Sixers didn't play much defense tonight, and that helped him a little bit, but he is really, really
that dunk
impressive.
he had over Joel.
Oh, yeah.
Off the rebound, the offensive putback. That was some amazing stuff, man.
And even so, you're seeing it he's getting a lot in transition. He's getting a lot off offensive rebounds. He's using his athleticism. I believe in that shot a ton.
Mm-hmm.
When that shot starts falling, he's going to be one of the ultimate 3-and-D plus role players.
Absolutely.
It'll be really good.
They have one there. They have a really
John
good
Morant, too, man.
John
You brought
Morant,
it up
40.
before the game.
Yeah, 40. And everything was left. It was driving me crazy. We talked about it. Pre-game, he's an all-star. We get all that. Everything was left. He's a right-hander, yes, but he loves going to his left and everything. The bump and the finish off the glass, the scoop finishes off the glass. Everything was going left. It was driving me crazy. Yes, you have to, when a righty is as good as he is going to his strong hand, but he's also more than capable of going to his left, you have to pick how you're going to play the defense. You can't shade either way. You have to play him straight up. But he kept getting to his spots left, and he kept getting whatever he wanted. Shout out to him because he was phenomenal.
Outstanding.
In the second half, he was tremendous. They couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
He was just, I don't know, as I scroll here through and looking at what he had, second half only, he was 10 for 12 with no three-pointers. 10 for 12.
I mean, he was 16 of 22 for the game.
24 points in the second half in 15 minutes, 10 for 12.
He was shooting 37% coming into the game and couldn't miss.
Unbelievable. 3 for 5 in overtime. Everything was left. Everything was left. He was phenomenal. Great game from John Morant and Cedric Coward as the opposition. Hedfa, the haiku.
Oh, does that mean I'm on duty?
You're
I'm
on
normally
duty.
the haiku guy around here. Thank you to Hedfa for a Hedfa haiku. Young and athletic. Valdez coolly hits the three. Ice flows in his veins.
Sure did. Sure did. Thank you for stepping in.
Thank you, Hedfa, for have we seen a Skunk Riley haiku in a while?
And I think our last
The king of the
While you were
haikus.
while you were away,
last,
definitely
last
stopped
home
by,
post
yeah.
game, he had haiku was there. All right, James Alexander says this core is starting to figure out how to play together.
I agree.
Well, it's the first win of the Paul George, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey lineup. I almost
The
said big
medium three.
I said the lineup, the medium three. But the core overall, look, they're going to have some decision to make when Dominick Barlow out there and Kelly Oubre comes back, because him next to Joel Embiid as the starting four and Kelly Oubre played as well as he did, but Paul George playing in his natural small forward position.
Mm-hmm.
They are figuring some things out. They need Watford and Oubre back to really get things going. And if Bona continues to play this way, they also have their young backup big to run out there and maybe some minutes next to Joel Embiid as well. Thank you all for your super chats. We really appreciate it. Fantastic win, everybody, tonight. Great way for us to sign off for 2025 as well with a really good win. Hit the like button, like and subscribe. Kyle, get all into that. Hit the like button. Please do hit all that.
It helps me sleep at night. It helps the channel. It's a thank you to Lindsay, who has been working her tail off all day today, rolling with us, because Bree saw my war against working in December and said, why not me? So thank you to Lindsay for stepping in today. Hit that thumbs up button for her, if nobody else.
For sure. Let's
for
get
all
to
her
the
hard
world
work.
famous. It is time for the world famous last of 2025. Roll call, everybody. Kyle,
Guys,
who we have.
Thank you for being here tonight. And thank you for being here for us always. All year, every year, you guys come out and support us. And that means a lot to me and to everybody on the set here, everyone behind the scenes. Means a lot to us. Thank you to Brian Knight, Real Prince Blue,
Knight.
Jake Mark, Between and Unseen, Miko Suave,
Miko.
Grump, PHLY Guy, Philly Star, I Gavini, Aaron.
What up, Aaron?
Benjamin, WJFM, who has the super chat of all time
That's
with the
a
dancing
radio
pair.
call letter if there ever was one.
Remo K, Vince Pellegrini,
Hey.
Alden Network, Bernard McCoy, Nooms for 9,
Wow.
X-Man, The Slim Sleeper.
What up, X?
That's a great one.
You don't get a lot of sleep, huh?
Slim Sleeper,
Slim
Phi Chi, Neil Deaver, Dalin, Axe Monkey, James Alexander with a super chat.
What up,
You better
James?
love somebody.
Love somebody.
Art Bikeman, Schoolboy with a super chat tonight.
What
of
up,
course,
Davon?
EJ Barrett with a super chat tonight. Tom Jackson, Headfo with a super chat.
Hey, Headfo.
Tyler Simpson, Reardon, Marcus Blackstock, Theo, Jay the Jungle with a super chat. Music Lover, Yams.
What up, Yams?
Mom's Grandchildren,
Hey, Mom.
TSL, Trev, Mellow 3 Point, Nick Obb, Coleman Potts, Mark
man.
Jackson, Terrence Knights. Of course, my girl Nona, Jess, Val, everybody.
Hey,
thank
ladies.
you as always for being here with us. We hope to see you in 2026 for many more Sixers wins, post-game shows, pre-game shows, 3 p.m. shows. On New Year's Eve, do me one favor. Do not drink and drive. Stay safe. Put your keys away if you're having some beverages. Take care of one another. Look out for everybody. We'll see you in 2026.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hit the thumbs up button one last time on the way out. Goodbye, everybody.
Hit that bell icon there. We'll see you on Friday.
Y'all city like the mayor.